2021 stadium for Scotland under-17s against Montenegro as Scotland get their elite qualification round for the 2017 European Under-17 Championships underway. For those of you unfamiliar with the format, the winners of each elite round to the final tournament in Croatia in May. In Scotland got a pretty decent record at this age level, aiming for a fourth consecutive Under-17 European Championship. As you can see, this round did get underway at Capello earlier. Serbia running out 2-1 winners against Switzerland. Tonight it's Scotland against Montenegro. Match day 2 is Sunday the 19th of March when Scotland plays Serbia here again, and then the elite round concludes on Wednesday the 22nd of March with Switzerland, Scotland's opponents on that day. I'm Gordon Duncan. Joining me for the next 90 minutes or so will be Grant Russell. And Grant, Scotland with the chance to make a little bit of history, making a fourth consecutive European Championship at this level, and an age group that we...
You see a high turnover of players at this age group, obviously, but the qualifying round record speaks for itself. 8 goals scored, 0 conceded, and a 6-0 win over Malta, and a win over the reigning champions Portugal. Let's
take a quick look at tonight's team lineups then. Scotland going to have Josh Donaldson in goal, a back four of Jordan Houston, Robbie Diaz, Stephen Welsh and Daniel Church. The midfield three, Seb Ross, Johnny Mitchell and Kerr McInroy, and up front Zach Rudden, Glenn Middleton, and tonight's captain, who is Jack Aitchison. On the bench for Scotland, Lewis Mayo, Lewis Hutch, Cameron, Lewis Smith and Aaron Reid. Referee just ordering the sides to switch sides here at a rain-soaked Paisley 2021 stadium before we get underway. And Grant, when you look at that record in qualification and getting to this elite round, you can see why Scot Gemmill and his players are full of optimism.
Yeah, and a lot of real gems out there in the team, and there are a couple of players. I mean, Jack Aitchison obviously going to play his third successive finals. Glenn Middleton as well, number 11 tonight. Really like the look of him on the flank. Reminds me of Oliver Burke in a way he plays direct in the ball is free.
There is Scotland's captain in the centre of your screen, number 7, Jack Aitchison. A name which will be very familiar to Celtic fans amongst others. More about him as tonight's game progresses, I'm sure. Just some final checks from the match officials. Krzysztof Jaberyk is the Polish referee tonight. He's just about to get us underway. Jack Aitchison, the man on the ball, waiting patiently to get the go-ahead. Final checks from both goalkeepers. Referee certainly is taking his time here, keeping everyone waiting. And there we are, Jack Aitchison, the most patient man in the stadium. The Scotland goalkeeper, I can tell you, he's just finishing putting his towel in the back of the net. We don't want anything to go wrong in those respects. Need to be nice and prepared.
You're really setting the scene here, Gordon. I like it.
Yeah, the referee, I think, is playing a bit of a waiting game. Jack Aitchison just looking over to this left-hand side. I suspect that's where the ball's going to get switched over to, and indeed it does. Middleton just trying to capitalise on a bit of a slip there. The ball's fired clear. Just an early misread of the ball from Robbie Diaz back there, but Stephen Welsh comes across and clears up the danger.
Immediately we're seeing the conditions, aren't we, Gordon? Wet pitch out there, really causing that conditions problems underfoot for the boys.
Yeah, the rain really has been battering down in the Paisley area for most of the day. A lot of the streets outside the ground absolutely covered in rain. It's a dangerous early ball in from Montenegro. Does manage to evade everyone. Zach Rudden's the man chasing over at the far side. Just about manages to keep it in, but only as far as Kristovic. Rudden again, battling hard. Referee thinks that is a foul indeed. Stanisic the man with it. We've got a first set piece of the evening for Montenegro. We can see already from the danger of that first cross ball, Grant, that that's clearly a tactic they're going to look to exploit.
Ball in the first time. We'll be interested to see what we see here and how our centre backs will deal with it.
The wind really is swirling around the Paisley 21 stadium. Going to make it a difficult evening with regards to set pieces. Here comes Brnovic. He's going to whip this one on right footed. In swinger, here it comes. It's a good ball as well. Header clear though. Only fired out to the edge of the box, and it comes crashing off the crossbar, and in the end header goes over the bar from Kristovic, and with only 90 seconds on the clock, a real let-off for Scotland.
Unfortunately for Scotland, caught the boy by surprise there, but what a crashing effort off the bar. I mean, it looked like Stephen Welsh had got it away well, but just came back in there and yeah, caught him by surprise.
So, not an ideal start for the hosts. I'm sure Scot Gemmill will be telling his players just to try and calm down, collect their thoughts, and impose themselves in this game, because it certainly has been the visitors who've managed to get off to the best start. That effort coming back off the woodwork after just 90 seconds. Here comes Scotland though. First real chance they've had to get the ball down. Daniel Church, the left back, just goes back to Diaz. He gets it back again. Going to go for a more direct approach this time. Middleton's underneath it. Header clear though. Neither side really managing to keep any real possession in these early stages, but you can see, I'm sure, the pitch very, very wet underfoot. Goalkeeper Josh Donaldson just goes long. Middleton again. He seems to be a real outball for Scotland in these early stages. Aitchison up and wins it, but can't do anything other than give away a throw-in.
Yeah, the Montenegro forwards really pushing that Scotland backline, really pressing them high up the pitch, forcing them into the long balls forward.
Having watched the Scotland under-16s at the Victory Shield in recent months, playing out from the back is a tactic they do like to employ. Here is Aitchison, the Scotland captain, pulled back, but referee gives him the benefit of the doubt. Aitchison plays it out to that far side. Dispossessed though. Aitchison working hard to try and win the ball back. Good interception that time from Stephen Welsh. And he comes, Kerr McInroy just works it out to that man Glenn Middleton. Here goes the Norwich youngster in onto the right foot. Tries to dance through a number of red jerseys. Can't get anything on it in the end though. And again another throw in this near side. But already you can see the intent there from Middleton. Grant gets the ball and his first thought is just to attack the opposition.
Just with the ball at feet as well. His close control is absolutely superb. Driving right at defenders, just causing a bit of panic amongst them.
Yeah, Glenn Middleton certainly one of the impressive youngsters at club level in this team. Managed to get on the bench for Norwich in an FA Cup loss to Southampton earlier in the season. So plenty more to come from him, I'm sure. There's Seb Ross just working out to the far side. He goes shoulder to shoulder, good strength from him, tries to cut it back. Jordan Houston joining him in. Half cleared. Welsh again wins it. Handball, says the referee. Welsh has to just go back and get his defensive line sorted, but already you can see the ball just skidding up and causing all sorts of problems every time it's a high ball coming towards the defenders.
Interesting to see Welsh getting forward from centre back quite a lot to come and win the play there. It's an interesting tactic.
So Montenegro just going to go long now as well, looking for that ball over the top, and again the Scotland rearguard do let it bounce. Certainly been a risky strategy early on, but such are the conditions. Josh Donaldson, the Dundee United keeper, happy to just let the ball bounce all the way through to him. And again he is going to go long. Left footed high up towards Rudden, just trying to use his frame. Clearly one of the taller members of the squad, Zach Rudden, the number 9. We've already seen diagonals played out to the left hand side to Glenn Middleton. I'm sure with the height of Zach Rudden, it's another option for Scot Gemmill's men as Jack Aitchison goes down. Referee tells him to get back to his feet though. Welsh again having to go across and clear the ball out for a throw in the far side. I don't think Jack Aitchison's too impressed with that one. Certainly felt as if he was pulled to the ground unfairly.
No, certainly looked like a free kick from where we are.
Montenegro with the long throw down the line. Welsh's clearance ends up coming back off Jordan Houston and out for a throw in. It's important, Grant, just for Scotland to try and calm the nerves after the first couple of minutes. We saw Montenegro hit the crossbar after just 90 seconds, so 5 minutes or so on the clock now, and important that they just regain their composure and try and get a foothold in this game.
And it's a team we would expect to settle. I mean, a lot of familiarity out there, especially in the back line. 3 Celtic players making up the left back and 2 centre back positions, and it's a team that played together coming through the ranks, so you would expect them to settle as they start to find their feet. Yeah,
Scot Gemmill certainly has a settled look about the under-17 team. As that ball just goes bouncing through again. Nervous moment for Scotland. Josh Donaldson's came, and in the end another huge let off. Donaldson came, tried to header the ball away, didn't manage to let it bounce into the box to use his hands. The ball looped over his head, but fortunately for everyone of a Scotland persuasion, it goes harmlessly wide of the goal.
You can see it in the bounce there, isn't it? It's just not bouncing quite true with how wet the pitch is.
And I suppose if we're being critical, then Kristovic really should have done better for Montenegro. The goal was gaping.
A real let-off for Scotland.
So, 2 big let-offs for Scotland in the first 6.5 minutes. Let's hope that's not a sign of things to come as this game progresses. First chance really for Middleton to run over on the right hand side. Good defending though, just managed to poke the ball away from him. And that is going to be a free kick. The referee's not impressed with that one. We're going to see an early booking. Indeed we are. You can just see Zach Rudden sliding in heavily there. Bojan Roganovic is the man who's down. He certainly felt that one.
Certainly an over-enthusiastic challenge, I think you would call that one, Gordon.
So, interesting evening left for Zach Rudden then into the book with 83 minutes still to play, so he'll have to tread carefully. And especially looking at the referee's reaction, Grant, he certainly didn't need a second invitation to get the card out, did he?
No, he was over in a flash, wasn't he?
So Montenegro get us back underway with the free kick. Long it goes. And again you can see Montenegro, they look confident after that start. They hit the crossbar after 90 seconds. They've just had another lobbed effort drift wide. So it certainly is the Montenegrin side who are doing most of the early pressing here in Paisley. I think the disappointing thing from Scot Gemmill's point of view, Grant, will be very much been from Scotland's own undoing.
Yeah, two things. Firstly, an inability to get a foot on the ball really going forward. It is Montenegro, say, pressing them off the ball, and then it's the lob balls over the top as well. There was so much the pitch or just a bit of uncertainty amongst the back line. It's certainly causing a lot of problems.
We've seen a few free kicks from this position early on. High it goes again, but again headed clear by Scotland. Rudden closing down, but the ball just popped over his head. Welsh back into the midfield. Brunovic does well, manages to work it out to the left hand side. Good defending Jordan Houston. He has to settle for a corner kick, and again very important for Scotland to defend yet another in-swinging set piece.
Well, as we've seen already, this is the real danger. Every ball that's coming into the box, Montenegro just getting a break of the ball, normally the second ball as it comes to be.
Good bit of height in the Montenegro side as well. You can see the number 9 Sergej Grubak just lurking at the edge of the penalty box. Clearly an aerial threat, as this one's going to be whipped right into that danger area. Very congested towards the edge of that penalty box. Glenn Middleton, the man. Charles was just closing down the short ball, but in it comes. It's going to be low. Straight back out to the corner taker. He's got a second chance if he wants. In it comes again. Great swirling ball, header down. Bit of pinball in the penalty box. Eventually hacked clear by Johnny Mitchell. But real nervy times for Scotland at the back as Jordan Houston just sees this one up the line. But again, every time Scotland clear it, it seems to come back. Here's Rudden. Walked out to McInroy on this left hand side. Here comes Daniel Church joining in from left back. Church is going to whip this one into Aitchison. Lovely touch, brings it down in the thigh, fires, and what a terrific strike that is. Jack Aitchison brought it down, swivelled, and fires an unstoppable shot into the top left hand corner. That is a stunning strike from the Celtic youngster. Scotland 1, Montenegro 0.
I think that shows exactly what Scotland have got in their locker at this level. Under pressure for the whole 10 minutes of this game. First chance to get a proper counter-attack. Great surge down the left from Daniel Church, and he found his teammate there perfectly, and well, just the composure to get it out his feet and to find that angle past the goalkeeper. Fantastic strike from Jack Aitchison.
We know that Jack Aitchison is a special player. You don't get into the Celtic first team and score a goal at the age of 16 if you can't play a bit. But my word, what a terrific finish that was.
Yeah, and he's just continuing to prove why now Brendan Rodgers and Ronnie Dial, men at club level, think so highly of him.
Well, there we have it for the first 10 minutes. Scotland certainly were under the cosh here against Montenegro. But with one swoop of Jack Aitchison's left foot, Scotland find themselves 1 goal to the good against Montenegro. And Grant, we said it had been a nervy start. What better way to settle the nerves than to score a goal, and a goal like that?
Yes, but Gordon, now is the important thing for Scotland to just get the composure now. Montenegro have had all the balls. It's a chance for Scotland now just to regroup, just find a bit of certainty. Montenegro constantly playing these long diagonals, just try to get the ball and win the second balls and get the foot on the ball.
Jack Aitchison, man with the captain's armband, leading by example early on here then in Paisley. Certainly has brightened up a dull evening from a Scotland fan's perspective. Already you can see a little bit of swagger back in some of the Scotland players. They've got their chest puffed out, looking forward to trying to get on the ball and build on that lead. And that gives us a chance to perhaps praise Jack Aitchison a little bit more. Just a bit of a lull in the play, Grant. I mean, everyone knows his history now. He's the Celtic's youngest ever goal scorer. Really was an incredible achievement at the end of last season. He's even managed to get in Brendan Rodgers' side on one occasion, remember, winning the penalty against Hearts this season. speaking to him through the week, you know, he's clearly got his feet on the ground. He accepts that life has changed since he burst onto the Celtic scene, but with performances like this, then it's clear to see why people are going to be talking about him.
This is a boy who talks about the sacrifice he's had to put in as well to get here, and showing no signs of letting that.
Here comes Church again, who did play a big part in that opening goal, remember. Left-footed down the line looking for Middleton. But again, you can just see the ball skipping up ever so quick off this pitch. Middleton, despite his best attempts at controlling it with his head, has to give away a goal kick in the end. Middleton staying quite high up the field though, the number 11. Scotland trying to press, forcing Montenegro to go long. That front three of Middleton, Aitchison and Rudden, keen to press the ball high up the pitch if they can. It's good battling play from Johnny Mitchell in the centre of the field. Gets it back again, goes one way and then the other into McInroy. Loose touch from him though. Welsh collects it. Houston goes out off Stanisic on the far side.
Stephen Welsh, such a commanding and cool presence in that back line, a Celtic player.
Yeah, there is a real green and white feel to the Celtic backline. Diaz, Welsh and Church all at Celtic. I'm sure there'll be a real familiarity about each other's games that can only be beneficial for Scotland. There goes Rudden, lovely touch by Aitchison. He's going to get it back as well. And down he goes in the box. Referee has a look. What's he giving? And he's going to book the Scotland player for simulation. Now, who are we to question the officials, Grant? But that looks like an incredible decision. We're going to get a look at it again. I'm not saying it was definitely a penalty. Aitchison starts it with a lovely back heel. Across comes the defender. Now, it may not be a penalty, but I'm not.
There certainly looks like there's been a coming together of sorts. So whether it's a foul or not is perhaps up for question.
Referee certainly didn't look impressed. Montenegro going to get us back underway. Jack Aitchison, just a shake of the head. He's remonstrating with the referee, pointing over to the dugout. So long it goes again. Good win though from Welsh, terrific header. Not scared to come into the midfield and win the header if he has to, the Scotland centre back.
He's got the pace, he's got the commanding presence to do so and then get back into position almost instantly.
I have to say, I'm still scratching my head at that decision from the referee, Grant. If it wasn't a penalty, fair enough, but how we can think that that was simulation from Jack Aitchison, I have absolutely no idea.
Must have a better angle than us, Scott. Don't do that.
Headed out to the right hand side. Rudden just spins on it and tries to clear it up the line. Doesn't get much real purchase on it though. Allows Montenegro to come forward. Good covering though over on the far side. Aberdeen's Sebastian Ross over on the far side that time. So the midfielders doing plenty of running so far as that ball's flashed across. Again, it was the big target man, Grubach. Did get the header on it, was relatively unmarked, and we're going to have another look at that Jack Aitchison incident. It was a lovely back heel. Across came the defender. Stefan Milic it was, the Montenegro captain. He's protesting his innocence.
The referee goes over with such certainty. I mean, what has he seen there? I mean, if anything, Jack Aitchison perhaps loses his footing.
Strange decision certainly early on, but with 15 minutes gone, the scoreboard makes good reading for Scotland. Scotland won, Montenegro 0, and it was that man, Jack Aitchison, with a wonderful goal on the 10-minute mark. Look forward to seeing that one again, that's for sure. Battling hard in the midfield, referee says free kick. Scot Gemmill throws his hands in the air in the Scotland dugout. He's none too impressed with some of the decisions so far. Important that Scotland certainly hold on to this lead for a while and try and build on it if possible, because it was a promising start from Montenegro. Let's remember Scotland very much scoring against the run of play when Aitchison found the top corner. They've got yet another set piece to defend here, only 16 minutes gone. It feels like it's been a tale of defending set pieces for Scotland up until now. Montenegro just assessing their options, taking their time. But you suspect this is going exactly where the rest of them have gone. Whipped right into the danger area. Indeed it is. The ball bouncing around again. It's got Josh Donaldson scrambling across. It's harmless in the end, but it doesn't stop some hearts and mouths from the Scotland players.
And getting in between two defenders there as well. I mean, a physical player as well, and Johnny Mitchell in there. And that's happening a lot in the box. Montenegro players just finding that little pocket of space in the air.
Anto Babic was the man who came closest to getting on the end of that one for Montenegro. Another commanding presence in the opposition team, so Scotland's certainly going to have to stay switched on from set pieces. Up it goes to Aitchison, nods it out to McInroy, has a look up, he's only got Church for company. Church does join in, a wonderful cross with the left foot, and up goes Rudden, and it's Scotland 2, Montenegro 0. Daniel Church again involved, a wonderful curling cross, and there was Zach Rudden. We mentioned his height, we mentioned his presence in off the right hand side, and a textbook header downwards into the back of the net. And with only 17 minutes gone, it's Scotland 2, Montenegro 0.
And this is just such a swift and intricate move. The long ball is played. Glenn Middleton gets the first touch there, and a crucial header down. And then it's just from there, McInroy, Church again with another driving run towards the byline. He knows exactly where he's putting this. He knows he's got aerial presence in the box, and fantastic to beat the keepers there from Zach Rudden.
Vico Vujovic in the Montenegro goal perhaps will be a little bit disappointed when he sees that one back, but Zach Rudden doesn't care, slides on his knees, takes the congratulations from his teammates, and incredibly, after some very nervous moments, it's Scotland 2, Montenegro 0.
Fantastic from Scotland, that even though they find themselves under the cosh, perhaps it's the pace they have, not just in the attacking positions essentially, but the fullbacks getting forward. We've seen Jordan Houston making a brief foray, but Daniel Church, intricate, completely vital for both the goals scored.
Here comes Middleton again as Scotland go on the attack. Real pace from him. Look at him go. He's leaving the Montenegro player in his wake there. Manages to keep it in. Down he goes. Referee says goal kick. Clearly plenty of pace to burn Glenn Middleton. He gave the defender a good 10 yards of a head start there and still managed to get round him on the other side and collect that ball.
You see where Oliver Burke comparisons are coming from. It's just having that burst of pace, and he's got the ball under control so well, even though he's playing it so far in front of him. He doesn't look like he's going to lose it.
Scotland with their tails up then after that second goal. Middleton trying to press forward and make something happen as Diaz just thumps that one high into the nighttime sky. Aitchison scampering across to chase down. Ganovic does manage to get it clear, only into the midfield area though. Scotland win it back. Second ball so important on nights like this when the pitch is difficult to say the least. Referee has stopped play just to make sure there's no injury. Kristovic is the man who picked up a bit of a knock there for Montenegro, but he looks okay, he's fine to continue. One goes long down the line. Houston it was, into Rudden, the man got his head on that cross for the second goal. Into Aitchison, lovely touch again. Jack Aitchison's close control really has been outstanding so far.
What a difference that makes when your front man can drop almost 40 yards back into the play just to get the ball back in for your team. Yeah, bring others into the game.
We already know Jack Aitchison's a goal threat, we've seen that already tonight, but clearly his link-up play very, very important to the Scotland team as well. Here comes Houston, nice footwork from him, cuts inside, again Aitchison with the flick. Going to be a chance here, Scotland through on goal again. It was McInroy, he went crashing into the goalkeeper. Referee wasn't impressed, but certainly was a ball that was there to be won. We see Houston just walked it into the feet of Aitchison again with the layoff this time. McInroy through. I don't think there's a great deal wrong with that, but it tends to be the keeper who gets the benefit of the doubt on those occasions.
Well, McInroy gets the ball there and the keeper gathers it. He certainly fancies adding another one to his talent. McInroy from midfield scored that goal. What a goal that was against Portugal in the first qualifying round as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Kerr McInroy, the man who scored the winner against holders Portugal to send Scotland through to this stage. So clearly knows where the goal is, bursting from midfield, trying to get his name on the score sheet. Foul against Jack Aitchison.
Well,
trying my best not to do the biased Scottish commentator routine here, but my word, he's certainly up against it tonight.
He's just using his physical presence against a player who looks stronger than him, and I guess he's giving that for backing it, but I can't see it.
We'll try and remain impartial as far as Jack Aitchison's battle with the official goes for the remainder of the night.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, and a bit of confusion in the Montenegro backline there. Absolutely no idea why Vujovic wasn't allowed to come and collect that ball. McInroy battling hard, penalised though by the referee.
Zach Rudden is in and amongst everything, isn't he? What a combative player. On a yellow card though, which perhaps causes a little bit of concern for Scot Gemmill.
Long it goes. Church manages to get his head on it that time. cleared by Welsh. Middleton's got a chance to latch onto this if he can keep it in, and indeed he does. We know he's quick. Tried just to go on the outside. Good defending though, it must be said, by Milic. You can see what he's trying, just to knock it down the line, but those long legs from Milic managed just to poke the ball away for a throw-in.
It was not a happy expression on Milic's face when he was confronted with Glenn Middleton absolutely searing up the wing.
Speaking to Glenn Middleton through the week, he certainly thankful to Alex Neil for the first team exposure this season. So now up to the young Norwich man to impress the new manager now that Alex Neil has left Carrow Road, of course. There's Church again, we know what that left foot's capable of. Cleared this time, into Mitchell. McEnroy, tussling hard, great sliding tackle. But unfortunately breaks to a red shirt. Grubac comes forward, works it infield. Well read though in the end by Diaz, penalised by the referee. Diaz doesn't feel like he did much wrong there. Certainly looked as if he managed to get in front. Referee doesn't see it that way.
Bit of both there. I think again, I can understand why it's given again on the wet surface, just sliding through and taking both man and ball.
So another free kick then to Montenegro. Said that quite a few times already in the opening 23 minutes. Brnovic tends to be the man charged with the responsibility of delivering these, and indeed he does again, the Montenegro number 8. Here he comes, right footed, whipped in, cleared to Aitchison. Aitchison, I think, caught in two minds really what to do with it there. Wasn't sure whether to bring it in or lay it off. In the end, didn't really do either. Scotland get away with it, managed to win a throw-in on the far side. Houston goes across, and you can see that two-goal cushion. Granted, it certainly looks like a different Scotland now, doesn't it? They looked a bit nervy in the opening stages, but they've done what they have to do at the business end of the field, and it's given them a nice bit of breathing space.
In the centre of midfield, they're winning the battles. Going forward, they're terrorising the Montenegrin fullbacks. It's just when they get set plays into the back line, Welsh looked assured enough. Well, long balls like this, it just causes a bit of heart in the mouth moments, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, Donaldson got that one right. We know he almost got caught out after 10 minutes or so, but manages just to be patient and wait for the ball coming into the penalty box. Certainly good competition for the goalkeeping spot in this under-17 squad as well. John McCracken, the Norwich keeper, is the man on the bench. Josh Donaldson, the man with the number 1 jersey this evening. Johnny Mitchell read very, very well. Middleton into Rudden, tries to lay it off first time, it doesn't quite come off for him. McEnroy coming across to try and close down, he's got Church with him. There is McEnroy, he's won it back. Clearly pulled back there. I think that might just be a yellow card for Pesikic. That's about as blatant a foul as you'll see.
I think that was an easier one for the referee.
So
maybe a slightly harsh yellow card.
Booking a piece then, Zach Rudden into the book for Scotland early on, and Danilo Pesikic gets a yellow card for Montenegro for that pullback on McEnroy. And we've seen Scotland have to defend a number of set pieces so far, now a chance to deliver one of their own. Seb Ross over there, so is Kerr McEnroy. Just depends whether they go for the left boot or the right boot. Wonder if this one's off the training ground. McEnroy certainly looks like he fancies it on the left foot.
Interesting, Daniel Church isn't on free kick deliveries from this side, considering his contribution so far in the game.
Here comes McEnroy, then in it comes left footed. It's another good ball. Montenegro do well to clear. Nice touch by Mitchell. Back to McEnroy, second chance for him. Just tries to flight that one in, and the keeper comes. Well, fair play to the goalkeeper. If he got his bearings wrong at the Zach Rudden goal, he got them very much right there.
What a touch from Stephen Welsh there. Just complete composure there.
Here's Aitchison, he's drifted out to the right hand side. It's a loose pass though this time. A real feature of the Scotland attacking trio though, Grant, is that interchange. We know that Aitchison started through the middle, Rudden on the right and Middleton on the left, but they're very fluid, happy to switch around and rotate whenever they get the chance.
And there are no slouches when the ball comes into that area. I mean, Aitchison, it's one touch from him to bring either of his two teammates into play, and Seb Ross as well in the deeper positions, and McEnroy too.
There is Ross, perhaps a little tug of the jersey, gets away with it into Aitchison. He's got a bit of space to look up, surrounded by red jerseys in the end though. Just back he comes into McEnroy, lovely touch from him. Cruyff turn away from his man into Church, back to McEnroy, Skips inside, he's lining this one up in the left, but McIlroy, what a terrific strike that is. Scotland 3, Montenegro 0, an absolute pile driver from Kerr McIlroy. He found the space, he lifted his head and blasted the ball into the bottom corner. 3 top quality goals from Scotland so far.
And Scotland had the ball there, and it was very patient attacking play from them. A lovely touch inside of McIlroy to find his Celtic teammate Daniel Church, and as soon as he gets it back there, it's just the heads up. He knows where the space is and he knows where the bottom corner is. What a thunderbolt of a strike.
Well, the Celtic midfielder Kerr McIlroy, we told you he scored the winner against holders Portugal in qualifying. That was a fine goal, but he might just have outdone himself there, and with not even half an hour on the clock, it's Scotland 3, Montenegro 0, and Grant, you cannot fail to be impressed by what we're seeing from Scotland, particularly in the attacking third of the field.
They are just so precise, deadly. Anytime they get the ball, whether it's 30 yards from goal, whether it's in the central areas or the wide areas, they know exactly where to put the ball. What a strike that was, though. It wasn't so much even the ferocity of the strike, it was finding the space between the two Montenegrin players to engineer the space. He knew exactly where he was going.
Well, remember, all of these games, all of Scotland's games in the elite qualification round here will be streamed live on Scotland National Team's YouTube and Facebook page, and you can also find us on the Scottish FA's Twitter account as well. To those of you who are already tuned in, well, I'm sure you'll agree you're getting an absolute treat here tonight, so why not tell your friends what they can expect from this Scotland under-17 side. We told you Scotland were decent at this level, for those of you who weren't aware, and my word, Scot Gemmill's men have certainly shown that inside the opening 28 minutes here in Paisley this evening.
One for the goal difference as well, if it comes down to perhaps the runners-up position, but of course you would fancy Scotland on this performance to be one of the group winners that will advance straight to the tournament, Croatia in May.
Yep, always wary as a Scotsman not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but like I say, you cannot fail to be excited with what we've seen so far as Rudden goes down that time, wins himself a free kick. And 3 very different goals, but all straight out of the top drawer. We look forward to getting a look at those at half-time. Aitchison with the first one, a really terrific finish, a lovely cross and good header for the second, and then another long-range effort for the third. The Scotland team really showing what they're made of in an attacking sense.
Well, another mention for them, and Daniel Church down the left-hand side. Where does Celtic keep finding these terrific left-backs? Involved in all 3 of the goals so far.
Well, we're not short on a good left-back in Scotland, we know that. So Montenegro trying to respond. It's going to take a heck of a response if they're going to get themselves back into this game. We've seen some remarkable comebacks in European football over the last couple of weeks, but
they are wearing red shirts as well if you want to go further back in time.
But Montenegro certainly are going to be up against it. 3-0 down after half an hour, and Scotland look hungry for more, it must be said. Milic, the captain, just trying to keep possession for his team, try and spark some life back into them. If you are a Montenegro fan tuning in, Grant, then you may feel some sympathy for the boys in red, because I think it would be unfair to say they've played badly. Scotland have just been deadly when they've got a sight of goal.
They've been fine with the set plays and getting the balls in the box, and they've caused a bit of havoc in the Scotland backline in that regard. When it comes to the rest of the play, they've been found wanting defensively. A lot of space they've been leaving 30-40 yards from their goal, and where they have the physical presence up front, well, they've been undone at the back in that regard.
Daniel Church in absolutely no rush to get on with this one, just trying to slow the play down now that Scotland have got that 3-goal cushion. He's been a vital part in that, creating 2 of the goals. Up it goes to his Celtic teammate Aitchison, another immaculate touch. Throw-in decision goes against him. But I must say, if Jack Aitchison is well known for his goal scoring, then what we're seeing already, Grant, is that his control and his link-up play is absolutely fantastic.
I'm trying to do that Scottish thing of trying to not get too ahead of myself, but I mean, what a player. I mean, as you say, he's already proven it at first team level for Celtic. He just seems the full package. Goal scoring, what a great finish for the first. Link-up play, composure, close control. He's got potential.
We'll leave it at that, shall we? Another free kick for Scotland, going to be Robbie Diaz. Another Celtic man who's going to take this one. Just takes it short though, rolls it into McIlroy. McIlroy plays it into the feet of Aitchison. Defender does well that time. McIlroy crunching tackle as well. So not only does Kerr McIlroy know his way to goal, but he likes a tackle as well. Already liking the look of him.
It's also interesting as well how the Scotland attacking players fall back in this kind of situation, especially when Daniel Church was caught upfield. Kerr McInroy straight back in the left back position to cover.
Montenegro thinking about playing it out from the back and then perhaps coming to their senses. It's been difficult on this wet surface. Well, I must say credit to the ground staff. Surface is looking good, considering conditions around the stadium. Very, very wet indeed. It was McInroy penalised that time. Handball.
I sailed here this evening though.
I see you've still got your wellies on as well. McInroy with the handball that time. I think the referee at least got that one correct. As Montenegro work it out to the left hand side. They do look a different side since they went 3 behind, it must be said. Scot Gemmill there on the touchline will be a happy man with what he's seen so far.
Montenegro just look a bit shell-shocked now, and every time Scotland get the ball in an attacking position, and it hasn't been that often in the game in fairness, but every time they just seem troubled by the pace that's coming at them, whether it's the ball at feet or the ball played into that sweet spot in the 30 yards from goal.
Well, you can understand why. It doesn't really matter what you've done. If you're 3-0 down within half an hour at any level, then you're going to be nervous to say the least. I'm sure it'll be running through the minds of the Montenegro players. This can go one of 2 ways. They can stage a dramatic comeback, or they're at serious risk of being on the receiving end of an absolute hammering.
And if there's any question marks over whether this Scotland team want to be clinical and capitalise on that nervousness, you only need to look at the Malta game earlier in the tournament. I mean, 6-0, 5-0 at half time, not much let up there.
Scotland very impressive at both ends of the field getting to this stage as well. It's not just going forward. You look at that defensive record.
Yeah, no goals conceded, and when you're playing the reigning champions as well, it's because it's such a settled back line, as we said. You know, Church, Dees, Welsh and Houston, the Rangers player, and 3 Celtic players there. Real continuity all the way through. I'd like to see that advance all the way up to full international level, perhaps.
I suppose it is a difficult balance at youth level, trying to give players a chance but also find a winning formula. Well, certainly so far so good on that front for Scot Gemmill. Church does allow that one to bounce. He's got the composure to deal with it. Just settles for a throw-in down near his own corner flag. Chance for Montenegro to push up the field. Scotland just going to have to regroup, make sure they don't give anything away, certainly before half-time. Down the line it goes then. Church is there. Just does enough to put his man off. Mitchell with it. Tries to play it up the line. Can't keep it in. You can already see Montenegro with not too many options on. A few of the players do look a little bit shell-shocked with the scoreline, it must be said. But a good chance to attack here, and Scotland have left a wide open space. In it comes left-footed. Great sliding block there. Robbie Diaz it was, just stuck out a left leg. It must be said though, Kristovic burst into the box far too easily. And perhaps Scot Gemmill will be realising there is some life left in Montenegro yet.
Well, he had all the time in the world to pick his spot there. I mean, thankfully Robbie Dees read exactly what he was going to do and go for the bottom corner rather than try and put it across to the far post.
So Scotland just having to regain their concentration. Wasn't textbook defending by any means. In comes the corner kick. Goalkeeper Donaldson punches it away. Glenn Middleton's got space to run into here if he fancies it. We know he likes to run. We know he's got pace to burn. And indeed he does. He's going himself. He's got 3 red jerseys for company. Nowhere really to go. Flashes it across the goal. Didn't do a great deal wrong. Just no takers that time for Middleton. Back it comes to Church. One of his poorer deliveries, but that's because he's set the bar so high early on, has Daniel Church. Across he comes and does the defensive duty as well. You can see Glenn Middleton on the counter-attack there. It didn't come to much in the end, of course, but what a great option it is to have him to take the team up the field.
Could you sense the anticipation when he was going forward the ball? You knew he was going to go all the way with it.
Just a bit of a shame none of his teammates managed to catch him. Sometimes that's the way. I think he was too quick for his Scotland teammates there and ended up crossing it to no one, but still encouraging signs from Middleton. Good to see Glenn Middleton speaking to him through the week as well. Hasn't lost any of his accent. Was born in these parts, born in Shawlands, but he's been in Northampton since he was 8 years old. But let me tell you, you wouldn't be able to tell. Still got the Glaswegian accent going strong. Or maybe he just puts that on when he joins up with the Scotland squad. I don't know, but he certainly was convincing.
That experience he's getting with Norwich as well. I mean, so many games in Premier League 2 this season, so many appearances, and getting on the score sheet as well. I mean, at his age, what vital experience that is, and to also be in and around the first team too. Really
yeah, absolutely. I mean, over 30 appearances for Norwich under-23s this season. Still only 17 years of age, of course, so plenty of potential in Glenn Middleton. And here he is on the ball, coming onto his left foot. He fancies a shot at goal as well. Certainly struck it with a great bit of power, but only into the arms of Vujovic. One of those ones where I think, if anything, he caught it too well, either side of the goalkeeper that's got a chance, but just straight down the goalkeeper's throat.
All defenders anticipating him going outside as well, so managed to engineer the space for himself. But yeah, like I say, struck a little too sweetly. Clearly
comfortable on both feet. We've just seen him flash one across goal with the right, and he takes a shot at goal with the left, so
cherish him.
Absolutely. Here comes Rudden. Nice 1-2 out to the far side to Middleton again. This is a lovely move from Scotland. Middleton, step over onto the left boot, looks for the curler. He's got himself a corner. Scotland really turning on the style going forward. Real swagger about their play. Middleton again at the heart of it. And I think Vujovic in the Montenegro goal absolutely delighted to see one of his defenders get in front of that one.
I think they just want to get in for half time, don't they, Gordon? I mean, every time Middleton's coming at them, Rudden's coming at them, Aitchison's causing them havoc as well when he's dropping deep.
There's the man who got the third goal, Kerr McInroy. He's going to try and turn provider on this occasion. In comes the corner kick, it's a good one. Diaz was there, and it must be said, Robbie Diaz, if we can be hypercritical, I'm sure he'll look at it back and think himself he probably should have done better, because he got up well.
He almost got ahead of the ball there. He was just not quite anticipating the flight of the ball. Time to be a free header. Really should be 4-0 Scotland, but I guess we can't be too overly critical at this stage.
Now Robbie Diaz with a good clearance at the opposite end just a moment or two ago, then showing his attacking threat as well. Scotland really are a mixed bag when it comes to the various threats that they offer. We've seen some nice football, we've seen some direct play, we've seen some set piece danger as well, so certainly a lot to enjoy about the Scotland under-17 so far this evening. Long may that continue as Church goes long. Aitchison's there, spins in behind. He knows he's got himself a corner, but it's well cleared in the end by Milic. I don't think Milic is enjoying that tussle with Aitchison too much, it must be said.
Or Middleton or Rudden when they come to his side, he's having a torrid time with them.
As we said, Rudden, who did start on the right, over at the left-hand side this time, but Aitchison gets it. Just tries to bring it in, can't take it under control this time. Left-footed high by Dees. Middleton, nice composed play from him, brings it down in the chest. Finds McInroy, he tries to cross it, well blocked. Got it back onto his favoured left foot though if he wants. It's a lovely sliding tackle that as well. Glenn Middleton doing the dirty side of the game.
We just can't stop talking about him, can we? Because he's everywhere, right, left, attacking, defensive, putting that experience to good use.
Yeah, certainly one with a massive potential. Let's do a number of these boys as Scotland just clear their lines on that occasion. Incredible to think that only 30 minutes or so ago we were talking about nervous Scotland and worrying about the conditions and trying to settle themselves and all of a sudden with 5 minutes to go before the break they're on absolute cruise control.
I thought you were about to jinx it there.
And there we are, half time. You forget sometimes that it's 40 minutes a half at under 17 level. Guilty. But the half-time scoreboard certainly does make for good reading for Scot Gemmill's men. Scotland 3, Montenegro 0. The first goal coming after 10 minutes. A wonderful turn and finish from Jack Aitchison, firing the ball high into the top corner. It went from good to better on 17 minutes when Zach Rudden rose highest to get in the end of a Daniel Church cross and nod Scotland 2 goals in front, and then perhaps the icing on the cake, before we even reached the half-hour mark, we went 3 goals to the good thanks to a wonderful strike from McInroy. But as you can see from the highlights early on, some nervous moments for Scotland having to clear their lines. And Grant, it really has been convincing stuff from Scotland so far.
All 3 of these goals, people at Scottish if they listen to this now, want to see all 3 of these goals shared widely on social media. I want them up now, I want to see them because they're all worthy of a wider audience.
Well, there was the second goal that time. Church with a wonderful cross. Zach Rudden, we know he's tall, but he certainly did the hard bit as well. He got up, nodded the ball down, past the goalkeeper. It has to be said, Scotland have just been so impressive. Certainly middle to front. We know there were a couple of ropey moments at the back, but the scoreline suggests that they've managed to do the job in defence as well, and you can see that man Daniel Church, every chance he got, this was the first goal into Aitchison, and look at the close control, Grant.
It's the touch before more than the finish almost for me. I mean, he finds the angle perfectly, it's just that deft control on the thigh, and he makes it look effortless.
I mean, incredibly, he almost loses his footing on the finish as well, and still manages to find the top corner. We always talk about timing in football, it came at a real important time in this as well. I mean, just look at this, out to the left hand side.
I mean,
Church, this is the second goal again.
You pick a star man for the first half. I mean, it's Daniel Church for me. The surging runs, the balls into the box, and having a hand in all three central positions.
Yeah, the Rudden goal really was, I think, a turning point in the psychology of the game. You know, showing that the first one wasn't a fluke and that Scotland deserved the lead. Church again involved with the third. Into McInroy, watch this, just finds a gap, surges through, smashes the ball low into the bottom corner. What more can you ask for from your central midfield player?
To be able to drive onto that as well, and like I said, just find that pocket of space. But there's three Montenegrin players there, all diving in at the last minute to try and avert that. Helpless, because he took this time to find the space, and he knew he was going to thunder it into the bottom corner.
So it really has been terrific stuff from Scotland in the opening half. Remember, all of these games being streamed live on the Scotland National Team YouTube and Facebook page, and at the Scottish FA's Twitter feed. You can't help but be impressed with what you've seen so far, so why not use this half-time break to phone your friends, tell them to get involved and watch what we've got coming up, because if the first half's anything to go by, this Scotland team are a real treat to watch. Half-time at the Paisley 2021 Stadium, it's Scotland 3, Montenegro 0. Welcome back to the Paisley 2021 Stadium. If you missed the first half, you do not know what you missed out on. A truly outstanding performance from Scotland. And going into the second half here, it is Scotland 3, Montenegro 0. When was the last time we had a Scotland team 3-0 up at half time? Certainly sounds good, doesn't it, Grant Russell?
Don't ask me such difficult questions, Gordon, but what a fantastic first half performance from Scotland. That man on the ball right now, Daniel Church, what a left foot he's got. Jack Aitchison, his Celtic teammate as well. Great control, great finish. And it's just been relentless from Scotland. Every time they get the ball and in the transitional phase and get it forward for the counter-attack, Aitchison, Rudden, Middleton, all fantastic up front. Getting the ball into the box, creating chances and scoring goals. Yeah, and from midfield as well. Yeah,
these goals just get better and better every time you watch them. This is the second one. Here you can see Church again, lovely ball again, this time Zach Rudden in from the right hand side of that front three that Scotland have. He rose well, headed the ball down, and you can see just what it means to them. They're absolutely delighted because they know that they're in with a chance of qualifying for the European Under-17 finals.
And yet again, they're playing absolutely fearlessly. I mean, it just would he do that in 0-0? I think he might actually, but you know, to play 2-0 up and just have the confidence to just surge forward like that and have a strike. I mean, 3 fantastic goals. I can't pick my favourite.
Absolutely not. Jack Aitchison it was with the first one, Zach Rudden of Rangers with the second, and Kerr McInroy, another Celtic player, with the third goal. It really has been outstanding stuff from Scot Gemmill's men in the opening 40 minutes, and here they come for the second. Grant, what will have been the main message then from Scot Gemmill in that dressing room at half time? I would imagine it would be along the lines of more of the same.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound too cliched, but I mean, what can you really say to a team that are 3-0 up other than just go back out there and just do more of what you're doing, retain your composure at the back, because we saw earlier in the first half Montenegro a couple of balls into the box that were causing a little bit of concern. Certainly get that ball forward early to the front three and create chances.
So for anyone out there who's wondering what all this is about, well, this is Scotland's first game of the elite qualification round for the 2017 European Under-17 Championship. Serbia and Switzerland played earlier today. Serbia won 2-1 at Capello. Now the winners of this elite round and all the others go through to the finals in Croatia in May. So certainly looking good for Scotland so far. Still a long way to go though. And we're going to have a substitution for Montenegro. Pusikic is the man coming off. He's already been booked, of course. He's going to be replaced by number 11, who's Marko Rokanic. So Montenegro with a roll of the dice at half time, because let's be honest, Grant, they certainly have to do something in the opening stages of this second half.
You asked me what Scot Gemmill would have said to his Scotland team at half time. I wonder what Montenegro coach is saying. I very much have to come out of the traps here. The first 10 minutes of the first half, they were in the ascendancy. They're going to have to do that again to get any sort of foothold back into this game. Yeah,
strangely enough, Montenegro did start the brighter of the two sides in the first half as they go long in the second. That one's just too far in the end though, as it drifts out of play on the far side. And Scotland really showing an impressive attacking display in the opening half here in Paisley. You could say they were a bit nervous early on, but they certainly managed to shake off those nerves. And 3 outstanding goals. I'm sure many of you have probably seen them all on social media already. Expect them to be shared widely this weekend. There's the man who started it off, number 7, the captain, Jack Aitchison.
Which one have you retweeted, Gordon?
I'll be retweeting them all at full time. No doubt about that. There's Aitchison again. Just the nutmeg, trying to move away from 2 defenders. He does initially, but well cleared in the end by Montenegro. Number 4, Welsh, there for Scotland, has been an assured performer at the back. Hasn't had a great deal to do, but cleared his lines well and allowed the attacking players to really express themselves and show what they're capable of.
He's been smart when it's been the second ball, Welsh. When Scotland not winning the first balls into the box, especially in that first 10 minutes, he's been the one mopping up. He's been the one snuffing it out when it matters.
Another loose ball from Montenegro that time, just affording Jordan Houston, the Rangers man, to take the throw in. Managed to get himself on the bench for the first team recently at Dens Park, of course. Graham Murty clearly impressed with what he had seen. Lee Wallace was injured, I believe, and Jordan Houston managed to get on the bench for the first team, only 17 years of age, so clearly someone who's fancied.
Yeah, and he got there on merit, Graham Murty said. It wasn't tokenism just because he's a youth coach at Rangers as well. He really deserved his place. He was next in line.
So Montenegro with a bit of time to play out from the back if they want, but Aitchison, just as I say that, proves me wrong. Scampers across a bit quicker than even I thought he was capable of getting there. And you can see the Montenegro coaching staff there, some concerned looks on their faces. Certainly no way to kick off the qualifying round from their perspective, but we are not complaining as Rudden headers it forward. Aitchison again. He's wrestled out of it this time though. Down the line it goes, flicked up into the air. McEnroy, the ball just bouncing around, neither side really managing to get a foothold on it. In many ways the start to the second half mirroring the frantic start to the first half we saw.
This is about Scotland watching the spaces now. I mean, the ball, they're just moving it in very intricately into little spaces. The
ball just coming in, and Donaldson scrambling back, manages to punch it but doesn't get it fully clear. Houston as well tries to clear it as that one goes back into the heart. Bit of a defensive mix-up, neither player really managing. There's a ball spun into the back of the net. Lovely turn and finish from Montenegro, and they are right back in this. A dreadful start to the second half for Scotland. They were absolutely cruising at half-time, but with only 3 minutes gone of the second half, it's now Scotland 3, Montenegro 1.
Yeah, I think that was Stephen Welsh and Robbie Dees. The two Celtic teammates played together plenty at centre-back at club and country level, just not communicating effectively there. But as the ball dropped, it's just the space is there for Montenegrin player just to fire it in. Nobody really tracking that second ball.
There was a substitute as well, number 11, Marko Rakanic on at the break. And what an instant impact from him. We've been quite right to praise Scotland's finishing in the first half, but that was a tidy finish as well.
I wonder where they got the inspiration from.
Yeah, clearly watching from the sidelines in the first half. So here comes Scotland again then. Let's see what they're made of, because they've got a difficult lead to hold on to now. And Grant, we promised we'd stay away from cliches, but my goodness, the next goal, how important is that?
Yeah, but Scotland just have to get composure. I don't think so much about the next goal, it's about the next 10 minutes and just trying to bring a kind of settled nature to play. It has been quite frantic for the 44 minutes we've played so far, especially the way the ball is zipping off the surface. The rain is not letting up here in Paisley. Get the foot on the ball and play a bit of composure rather than concentrate to zip it forward, because Montenegro will win it. They're playing on a high press and they're quite effective going forward in the counter-attack as well.
What effect does this have on the mindset though? Because if you're an optimistic Scotland player at half-time, you're thinking, okay, we can kick on and win this by 5, maybe even more, given the way we've played in the first half. But all of a sudden, you're looking over your shoulder and thinking, hold on a minute, this game isn't won by any stretch of the imagination.
Another Scotland goal is going to settle the nerves, isn't it?
So an interesting change in dynamic then from a Scotland point of view. It's the first time they've conceded in this competition. Remember, Grant hadn't conceded in the qualifying rounds, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle that, just something new to this group.
It'd be disappointing to lose that record as well. I mean, an 8-0 record across the 3 qualifying games they've played so far, but again, to bring out a cliche, it's all about just getting the win.
And you can see the rain causing havoc there, because the Scotland player not even managing to get the ball in play properly from a throw-in. Daniel Church does get it right at the second time of asking. Aitchison battling hard, but he's going to have to settle for a goal kick. I think it's vital, Grant, for Scot Gemmill and Scotland to get that front 3 involved, Middleton, Aitchison and Rudden, because they were so effective in the first half. And you can see already what happens when Aitchison applies that pressure at the high end of the field.
With the way for Scotland to get back into this game perhaps will not be necessarily getting the ball to the front 3, it'll be them getting it back themselves in a high press, putting the defenders under pressure and trying to win and engineer an opportunity there.
There's that man Daniel Church again, who was at the heart of almost everything Scotland did in the first half. This time it's his throw-in ability that's tested. Going to be easily cleared though. Montenegro come forward, and already they look a more confident side on the back of that goal. Rudden plays it out to Church. Montenegro certainly feel they should have had a free kick, but that goes long. Aitchison's underneath it, and you can see he's got a serious height disadvantage there, but he made the most of it. Managed to at least make life difficult for the Montenegro defence. And Rudden again back doing the defensive side of his game. Already in the book after, I think it was only 2 minutes, remember, Zach Rudden, so he has to be careful, but still battling hard.
It's just the nature of Zach Rudden's game, isn't it? When we see it, I mean, he's just very high energy, high octane, doesn't hold back whether it's with or without the ball.
Another chance for Montenegro to deliver from the set piece. They had a few nervy moments for Scotland in the first half, managing to swing in some dangerous looking deliveries. Let's see what they can produce from this one.
Well, this is where we might see the mindsets of some of the Scotland defenders. A little bit of nervousness. They know what was happening in the first half. They've conceded early in the second half. Who's going to be commanding here and get the ball away?
Yeah, we've seen Stephen Welsh clear his lines for Scotland on a number of occasions so far. Let's see if he can marshal that back line. Just a two-man wall. Going to be the left-footed delivery this time. It's another dangerous ball, but it's straight towards the goalkeeper. Good bit of pace on it, nice direction as well. Just too much on it. Josh Donaldson happy just to palm that one down and take it in and take his time and really allow Scotland the chance to just get their thoughts back together and regain a bit of composure.
A little worry there when that ball's zipped in, considering how wet the ball will be, but Josh Donaldson just taking it with such composure to palm it down into the turf.
Houston chasing out to this near side, given away though. Glenn Middleton has it, tries to go on to that left foot of his. Always a willing runner, always happy to dribble with the ball, Glenn Middleton. You know what he's trying, but unfortunately so did the Montenegro defence. And I wonder if they've just got the message, because there was 3 red jerseys closing him down. But here he goes again, Middleton. Pace and strength down the left hand side. He's still got it. Back onto the left boot. Good tackle though, it must be said.
What a joy he is to watch. It's just the close control, the composure. He's not phased at all. He knows he can beat a man. He knows he can hold the ball up. He's got that arrogance about him, doesn't he?
Good physical presence as well, as you can see, just holding the ball up there, trying to knock it into the path of Seb Ross. It was an ambitious ball in the end, it must be said. You can see Stephen Welsh is just telling Josh Donaldson, the goalkeeper, just to look long. I think that's what Donaldson's going to do. This Scotland team are not taking any chances after that Montenegro goal. The game has taken on a whole new feeling, it must be said. Donaldson gets that kick wrong.
It feels like the life's been sucked out of the Scotland team very slightly, doesn't it?
It certainly has changed the feeling around the Paisley 2021 stadium. All of a sudden the players aren't quite as dynamic as they looked at times in the first half. Middleton can't keep that one in. Down the line it goes. Not sure the ball ever entered play though, did it? Well, referee seems to think it did. Jordan Houston, another man, another boy that Scot Gemmill looks to for leadership. Captained the side in the friendly draw against Japan back in February. So we know that Aitchison's got the armband tonight, but other players like Houston clearly going to be important in the next 10 minutes or so as Scotland try and regain control of this game. There goes Aitchison. Terrific pace from the Montenegro defender to get back. Down goes Aitchison. Wow. Referee says free kick, but incredibly
I mean, Aitchison's led in with his shoulder there. He's being tugged back. You can see the hand on the right arm tugging the jersey back. Aitchison goes in with the shoulder to try and get the physical presence. That should be a Scotland free kick.
Well, he's certainly been up against it as far as the officials go this evening. Jack Aitchison had the last laugh so far with a terrific strike to open the scoring. Let's hope he can find the back of the net once more. Babic is the man. He's just gone over to the corner flag. Interesting that the goalkeeper doesn't want to come across and take this one. So Babic is going to launch it long. Mitchell goes up. Dees is in there as well. Knocks it out to the far side to Daniel Church. Good composure from him, as we've come to expect. Plays it down the line. Well cut out in the end.
Yeah, an ambitious run from Zach Rudden, deciding to hug the touchline rather than cut inside where the space was.
There goes Aitchison, back into McInroy. Great footwork from him as well. There's Johnny Mitchell, just works it out to Welsh. Back in it goes to Dees. All the way back to goalkeeper Donaldson. He's only got one thought in his mind. He has a quick look, but it really was always going to go long. Up towards Middleton. Great early jump from him. Played into the space by Aitchison. Middleton just couldn't quite get there.
That was another foul, it looked like to me. On the Scotland jersey there, with Jordan Houston being pulled back by the Montenegrin player, but a good chance for Scotland to break.
Aitchison really has been everywhere. He's not content with just an attacking goal, always looking to drop deep and win the ball back. McInroy goes left-footed. Out to the far side. In it comes to Dees. Up to Rudden. Rudden goes down in a heap. Looks like he might have taken a sore one there, Zach Rudden. Big Rangers man just holding the bottom of his spine. Looks in a bit of discomfort, although I suspect he's going to be okay.
Dynamics changed from Scotland in the second half. Whether it was ball to feet down the flanks in the first half, it's now trying to play on that physical presence of Rudden and Middleton. The high balls trying to get the knockdowns for Aitchison or Ross or McEnroy.
Well, the high ball certainly worked to Zach Rudden for Scotland's second goal. It was a textbook attacking header, wasn't it? Got up well, headed the ball down, and here goes the man who got the third into Aitchison. Worked across, Middleton a bit further than he would have hoped, but he has managed to keep it in, albeit he doesn't have a great deal on for support. Drags it back, tries to cross the ball in, keeper comes for it, gets in all sorts of trouble, collides with his defender, and it goes left footed. There's Jack Aitchison on the turn, and Jack Aitchison finds the bottom corner to make it Scotland 4, Montenegro 1. Aitchison with his second and Scotland's fourth, and that's more like it from the hosts.
Fantastic vision as well to find Jack Aitchison there, because some players might be thinking, is he in an offside position? It's Jordan Houston, I think, who just surges in from the right back position to find his Scotland teammate. Well, a composed finish we come to expect from Jack Aitchison.
Yeah, Jack Aitchison really has had a terrific opening 53 minutes, 2 goals, a number of excellent touches, some excellent link-up play, especially with that man Glenn Middleton, and you can see he was the man at the heart of it, just dragged it back, got a bit of good fortune with the cross, goalkeeper and defender getting in all sorts of trouble, and when it comes back to Houston, he just plays it into the right area, and there was Aitchison again. 1 goal with the left foot, 1 goal with the right, both with his back to goal. We know what's got to come next.
A header with his back to goal is a bit ambitious goal.
We'll settle for a header then.
Right,
we'll
okay,
go for the perfect hat-trick. No pressure, Jack Aitchison, but come on. Grant Russell and I are expecting big things in the next 37 minutes or so. It must be said, it really has been impressive forward play from Jack Aitchison. Comfortable on both feet. As I said, back to goal. Knows where the goal is. Just turn and hit, and it's a devastating effect so far.
If you're a centre back and you've got Jack Aitchison up against you, I mean, he's a ghost when he kind of drifts into those positions, just drops 5 yards off you, and you've got no chance. You're having to try and make up the space, you're having to run out towards him. He's got the composure.
And the touch is immaculate, you know, just pops the ball up, allows him to turn and hit it. And we're back underway here at the Paisley 2021 Stadium. And we're going to see a change for Scotland as well, perhaps looking to shore things up now that the 3-goal advantage has been restored. Scot Gemmill just taking his time to make that change. We'll bring you news of that in a moment. Jordan Houston, the man with the throw-in. The Rangers man who provided the assist for Jack Aitchison there.
4 assists from fullbacks.
It's the modern way, isn't it? Trying to get the fullbacks high up the pitch, and here goes Glenn Middleton bursting across the halfway line. Has been full of running. Lovely pass from him out to Church. Church with the early ball in. Aitchison's there. I thought that was us getting our header, and back it comes. Middleton gets it all wrong though. We'll forgive him that. He's had an excellent game, Glenn Middleton, but just took a bit of a fresh air swipe that time.
Church is a man again, isn't he? I mean, Rudden's calling and calling for it, just wanting to play diagonally across.
Oh, I can't believe it, Grant. We're not going to get our hat-trick. The captain's been taken off, Jack Aitchison. I think Scot Gemmill clearly wanting to rest him for some important games coming up. There's no doubt about that in this elite qualifying round.
Oh, he did alright for the 55 minutes he was on the pitch.
That is an understatement. Outstanding stuff from the Scotland captain, the number 7, Jack Aitchison. I hope you've all enjoyed his performance as much as we have. And I expect to see many, many more impressive performances in the coming years from Jack Aitchison. He's going to be replaced by Innes Cameron, the Kilmarnock striker though. Clearly a different type, you can see the physical presence, so he's going to be up there with Rudden as well. 2 very tall attackers. And Grant, I don't think there's any doubt that Jack Aitchison's been giving a rest because there's a lot of important action to come over the coming days.
Yeah, perhaps 2 of the stronger teams in the group to come as well, but what a shift from him. Innes Cameron coming on, an interesting one, and we said Scotland were looking to play with long balls to the physical forwards now, so it's very much trying to get that from the front 3. A man of experience already, made his first team debut for Kilmarnock and been on the bench plenty times this season. When Lee Clark was there, he certainly saw something he liked.
You remember, this is Scotland's first game of the elite qualification round for the 2017 Euro Under-17 Championship, so Scotland still have plenty of action to come. They play Serbia here on Sunday and then Switzerland here on Wednesday. So if they win the group, it's simple. They'll book their place in Croatia in May, and they've got a good chance if they come runner-up as well. 7 of the best 8 runners-up qualify. So far so good for Scotland, and that might just give you a little bit of background as to why Jack Aitchison's been taken off, because he's going to be relied on heavily over the coming days.
Isn't it a joy, though, to not just have a Scotland team where it's so heavily reliant on that one player? I mean, yes, he has been a revelation today, but it's not all been him. There's been plenty of contributions from teammates from wide positions, alongside him up front and from midfield, all through the spine of the team.
Well, you're the man that's going to have to pick the man of the match when I bring it to your attention in
Goodness me.
the near future, and I don't envy you, because there have been some excellent performances in dark blue and white this evening. And again, we always talk about momentum and confidence and spirit in games at any level, and again you can see we talked about Montenegro having their tails up and looking confident after they scored, but again it's shifted and already they look a bit more nervy, and Scotland are trying to get a foothold in the game after scoring that 4th.
You know what I will say about this Scotland team? It's woefully predictable, because they were under the caution the first 10 minutes of the first half, and then suddenly they found that sucker punch, and they've done it again in this half. You think the heads might be down, having conceded a goal early on, but then out of nothing they managed to conjure up another strike. What a real quality that is for Scot Gemmill's men.
Yeah, it really has been quite something. Quite often we expect Scotland teams traditionally to have to be gritty and dig in and see what they can get, but this Scotland team have been an unbelievable attacking force.
They score at will, and to be able to say that about a Scottish national team at any age level is a real joy.
Certainly encouraging. We're going to have another change from Montenegro. Substitute just getting ready over on the far side, but in the meantime Stephen Welsh is the man over the free kick. He's just going to float this one high up towards the edge of the penalty box. Cameron nods it down. Middleton onto the left boot, he's going to fire it. Goal, Glenn Middleton, and what a strike that is. This has been an absolute treat from Scotland so far as we approach the hour mark. Scotland 5, Montenegro 1, and the goals just keep getting better and better and better.
This highlights reel is going to break the internet. 5 incredible goals. Innes Cameron making an instant impact of the little knockdown to Middleton. Just takes the time to get it out his feet. I mean, that strike.
Well,
a 2-footed player.
He threatened in the first half, didn't he? We saw him fire one right at the goalkeeper with that left boot. We know he's got that in his locker, but he really managed to produce here. You can see Cameron with the knockdown, one touch, another one just to take it out of his feet. Doesn't even lift his head, knows where the goal is. The goalkeeper absolutely rooted to the spot. You can see what he thinks of that. Scotland 5, Montenegro 1, and the hosts are absolutely cruising.
It's just they didn't know what he was going to produce there. They thought he was maybe going to try and bring it on his right, and they just took the deftest little touch, and 3 Montenegrin players tying themselves up in knots, giving him the room to fire it home.
Well, a lot of the pre-match attention went to Jack Aitchison and Glenn Middleton just because of the success they've been having at club level, and you can see why. There's Middleton again, trying to turn provider this time, doesn't quite work. But I'd imagine his coaches and teammates from Norwich City will be absolutely delighted with what they've seen here tonight. Glenn Middleton. We expect our wingers or wide men to terrorise fullbacks perhaps and provide, but he's been a real goal threat as well, hasn't he?
It's very like how Gordon Strachan's the A squad will play as well, with the wide forwards being able to cut in and create goals. We're thinking Matt Ritchie, Robert Snodgrass as well. It's an interesting dynamic and really encouraging to see the boys coming through of a similar ilk who are able to tie defenders up like that, are able to get their shots away from distance and be clinical with it.
Well, he does have 3 goals for Norwich under-23s this season. Glenn Middleton there, the number 11. He's doing it for his country as well, it must be said. Montenegro have made that change, by the way. Micunovic coming on for the captain. Captain Milic just picked up a knock in the lead up to Scotland's 4th goal, and he's gone off to be replaced. I must say, if I was a Montenegro defender, I would perhaps be signalling for a substitution myself. Wouldn't fancy any more of this. Still 20 minutes to go. Scotland 5, Montenegro 1. And we said when Montenegro pegged it back to 3-1, you know, Scotland have got 2 choices. They can either try and hang on to this, or they can kick on and win the game convincingly, and it certainly looks like they're going to do the latter.
I don't know if it's in the lock of this team to want to try and sit in and hold on to a lead. They just want to try and score goals at any opportunity they have, regardless of the scoreline.
And already you can see, look at the battling qualities there. I must admit, Innes Cameron, again, trying my best to be impartial, but don't think he did a great deal wrong. This looks like both players really just wrestling hard. I'm not sure what the Scotland player did that was necessarily worse, but there you go. And there's another man who's been involved in the thick of the action, Zach Rudden. I wonder if his substitution might just be in the mind of Scot Gemmill. He's on a booking as well, worth bearing that in mind.
Well, Ennis Cameron's a real handful up front. To be able to get that physical presence right on the front point is going to make a big difference in the last, 20 minutes.
He's no slouch either. Might be a really tall, commanding figure, but quite content there to just pop the ball down the line and take it for a run. Couldn't quite get there in the end, of course. And I just wonder what the Serbian and Swiss camps will be thinking of this. Still to face Scotland, and Scotland certainly sending out an impressive message ahead of the last 2 games.
And it's a consistency of selection for Scot Gemmill's side as well. I mean, 2 changes tonight, 1 enforced. I mean, this is a team with the continuity they have. They know how to play well together. They're capable of results like this in any game they play. They proved that in the first qualifying round. They're proving it again tonight.
Oh, lovely turn on the edge of the box, a crunching tackle. Surely going to be a booking. It was a wonderful turn from Seb Ross on the edge of the box. Number 13, you can see he's in a bit of discomfort on the turf. Hopefully he's okay to continue, because that was a lovely piece of skill. He knows where the defender is, just goes to drag it around him, and you can see his standing foot is caught, and I'll tell you what, that is about a yard or 2 away from being a penalty kick.
Just had to watch that again to make sure it wasn't a penalty kick to Scotland, but a great opportunity. Interesting to see what we can do from a direct free kick position. Are they going to have a shot at goal? They're going to try and find one of the physical players at the back post.
Well, I think it's the first direct free kick opportunity we've really seen from either side in this game. Glenn Middleton, the man who scored the 5th, is over it, as is Kerr McInroy, both left-footed players, which is interesting. You might consider that to be the so-called wrong side for a left-footed player. I certainly hope Glenn Middleton makes me eat my words here and bangs this one in the top corner, which we just know he is capable of doing. There's no doubt about that.
Goalkeeper's taking no chances with his near post there. He's sussed this one out.
Here he goes, Glenn Middleton comes left-footed, it's low and hard, keeper saves well, and I thought Cameron might just be in there to poke home the rebound, but fair play to the goalkeeper. He must have seen that one late. It was actually a good idea from Middleton, because we know that the ball's wet, the turf's wet, and it's often difficult to get it up and over from that distance.
Trying to take advantage, just hoping it would just skid off the surface a little bounce. It'll deceive the goalkeeper, especially with all the bodies in the way.
There's Ennis Cameron. An accidental nutmeg, I think, from Jordan Houston. I'm not giving him credit for that one, not a chance. Montenegro have it. Seb Ross just paying him close attention. No need to dive in. Middleton goes charging that one down as well. It's been a real feature of Scotland's attack. Not only have they been devastating in front of goal, but they've given this Montenegro backline absolute nightmares in terms of how quick they've closed the ball down. Up the line it goes. Referee says handball, and indeed I think he got that one right. Sergei Grubak did well to hold the ball in, almost literally, because he almost caught it. Did well to back into the Scotland player, but you can see just up off the knee, clear handball. And we are going to get another substitution for Scotland as well. Just some final instructions from Scot Gemmill on the far side. I think he might let the goalkeeper Josh Donaldson get this one away first. It is going to be Aaron Reid who's going to come on. The Hearts youngster going to be the next change for Scotland.
He already had some professional experience this summer as well in the Challenge Cup games for Hearts under-20s against Stirling and Elgin, so interesting to see what he can do. Yeah,
Aaron Reid, another player going to get a chance to express himself. A good opportunity this for Scotland to give other players a chance as well. We know it's competitive and we need to score as many goals and win as convincingly as we can, but at the same time, always good to get yourself in such a position that you're 4 goals to the good and can afford to make these changes.
Oh yeah, precisely as you say, 5-1 up in a game. Scot Gemmill likes a settled side, but the chance to give some other boys a run out is actually going to be a double substitution here.
Yeah, indeed it is. So let's get the first substitution. Robbie Dees is going to come off. He's performed well. I can think of certainly one important clearance in the first half. He's going to be replaced by Lewis Mayo, the Rangers man. On he comes. Jordan Houston is going to be the other man coming off. So number 17, Jordan Houston, the Rangers defender, leaves us, and he is going to be replaced by number 18, Aaron Reid. So Aaron Reid may be a familiar name to Hearts fans who are tuned in.
Well, Lewis Mayo, of course, one of the boys from the first intake of the performance school.
He's just gone slotting in at centre half alongside Stephen Welsh. And there's Daniel Church, as if we can't praise him enough for his performance. He's now slotting in at right back. So Daniel Church, he's been devastating from left back, and he's so good that he's managing to play over the other side now.
No surprise really, he got elevated earlier in the season as well to play in the UEFA Youth League against, getting a wee run out against Manchester City. A versatile player, defensively, offensively, what a real prospect.
Yeah, recently signed a 3-year deal with Celtic, so they clearly are happy with his progress. I'm sure they'll be delighted with what they're witnessing here this evening. Montenegro with the chance to deliver. Scotland aren't quite switched on. Montenegro managing to take it short. It's into the danger area, manages to evade everyone though, and just thumped clear by Mayo. No Scotland player anywhere near that one, but he's not complaining. Just wanted to clear his lines. Up it goes. You can see the visitors adopting a direct approach as well. There's some real physical young target men on the field. Though Scotland have shown that they can certainly play a bit as well.
Yeah, Mayo just going in at centre back, isn't he, until Aaron Reid take up Church's position on the left. Interesting to change a back line quite so dynamically like that at this stage.
I suppose when you've got a 4-goal cushion, you can afford to. Scotland can't believe that didn't go their way. Zach Rudden quick to get back in front of his man though. Scot Gemmill watches on, hands in pockets, but I'm sure he's absolutely delighted with what he's seen so far this evening. There's Rudden again, down he goes. He certainly has been in the wars, the Scotland number 9. Rejects the chance of a handshake, up he gets. Gets on with it, two number 9s colliding over on the far side.
He's not here to make pals, is he?
He's not bothered. He's here to score goals, which he did ever so well in the first half. You can make a case for all of the goals being crucial, but I think particularly Zach Rudden, when he put Scotland 2 goals up, it really did settle some of the early jitters. There's good play on this near side. Innes Cameron again, a real physical presence. He can't quite keep it in the end. Wins a throw in though.
I think he might have given a free kick there for a pullback.
Yeah, indeed he has, right on the sideline. I wonder if Scotland are going to deliver, and indeed they are. They're not happy to just sit back on the 4-goal cushion, credit to them. Most of the big men are up for this one. It's going to be swung into the danger area. McInroy again. That wand of a left foot that he's got. Here he comes, McInroy whipped in. Disappointing delivery from him in the end, doesn't beat the front man. Out it goes. Aaron Reid with the chance to deliver. Similar outcome for him though. Bit of a chance for Montenegro to break. Well cleared though. Johnny Mitchell. Church as well. Turning into a bit of a battle in the midfield there. Stephen Welsh, not for the first time, intercepts and steps out, reads the game ever so well, does the Celtic defender. Back it comes. Montenegro just trying to make something happen. I think even the most optimistic fan would accept they're running slowly out of time. There's Mitchell again. Just a loose layoff. I think they call that hospital ball, don't they? Offside flag goes up against Grubac. He'd just come from an offside position, certainly onside by the time he picked up the ball, but started his run deep.
What we've seen from this team so far in this game is plenty of ingenuity and offensive play. What we want to see in this last 9 minutes or so is that ability to just calm a game down, get on the ball, move it round, just try and get a bit of possession, wear out the Montenegrin players and see this game out.
I think what must please Scot Gemmill is the fact that in the traditional sense they haven't dominated the game. They've just been so clinical. I can't remember really any missed chances. Every chance they've got, they've been absolutely deadly in front of goal.
I'd like to see the possession stats for this one actually. Well on the hedge, you bet Montenegro might have had more on the ball, but Scotland have just done so much more with it.
Scotland just trying to press high again, but Montenegro do get out. Headed up the line, and it goes again. And there's that man Rudden, just looking for the nutmeg, doesn't quite come off. He's battling hard as he has done all evening, does well to win it back. Middleton. Not mentioned him in 5 minutes or so, can't believe it. And as you can see, Scotland now just happy to keep possession. Although Welsh might indeed go long, because he's got that presence of Cameron and he wins it ever so well. Back to the goalkeeper it goes. A high risk strategy that from Montenegro. As you can see, it results in a throw-in, and again another chance for Scotland just to maintain their pressing high up the field, and perhaps, you never know, even go for a sixth.
The ball back to front like that, it just happens instantly, and it's always held up by one of the front line, whether it's Cameron or Middleton or Aitchison, or Rudden, and it just brings the team into play instantly. That's where a lot of the goals have come from.
Here goes Middleton again, almost identical shooting position this time. Chooses to slip the ball out to Rudden. Got a difficult job on though, he's got two men for company. Zach Rudden does well to hold him off, down he goes. Referee's having none of it. This chance still hasn't gone for Scotland. Middleton's there, Rudden's down in a bit of pain. Slip allows Middleton to get to the byline, great power from him. He's into the penalty box, dancing his way in, right footed and into the back of the net. That is outstanding from Glenn Middleton. That had everything. Tenacity to win the ball back, strength to hold off the man, composure to lift his head, and then the finish as well. We're running out of superlatives for this Scotland team. Scotland 6, Montenegro 1.
I mean, 2 minutes before that he looked like maybe he was just conserving his energy, and as soon as he gets on the ball he just bursts out of nowhere. Composure is the word. He's so clinical as well, and a finish from that angle as well. One goal on the left, one goal on the right. What a fantastic show. We
gave him all the credit in the world for the long range finish with the left. He blasted that one into the top corner. This one was all about his grit and determination to win the ball back, and then when he has to provide the finish on the right foot, he can do that as well. Glenn Middleton, Scotland's number 11, the Norwich man, has been absolutely devastating in the final third. Now just look at that scoreline. That is a joy to look at, isn't it?
No, it truly is. But whereas the scoreline is fantastic, and it's certainly not an overly, it's a well-deserved scoreline for Scotland. But it's a performance that pleases me more, and the fact that they're just so clinical. It's not so much build-up play, slow build-up play. It's clinical back to front ball, bringing the forwards into play, and just being so deadly with it.
A bit of sympathy for Kristovic, who lost his footing over on the far side, but one man you don't want to lose it to is this man, Glenn Middleton. Thinks about the shot. I think he was caught in two minds there. You could still get a hat-trick from him, of course, but he certainly looks like he's running down the clock. Still 5 minutes or so to go. I, for one, would like to see a Glenn Middleton hat-trick.
This is approaching Jim Baxter levels, isn't it? I'm just waiting for the keepy up.
He's clearly in no rush over on the far side, just using that physical presence that he has as well, just to hold off the defenders, run that clock down. And this has been mightily impressive from Scotland, it must be said. You don't win 6-1 by accident, and let's bear in mind this is the elite qualification round. Scotland aren't playing European minnows here. This is a team who's got to this stage as well.
Yeah, and the Scotland team going for a 4th consecutive under-17s final. It's certainly an age group where there's plenty of talent who can perform on this stage.
We clearly do a lot right at this age group. Bigger question, of course, maybe what happens after that, but we're not worried about that for tonight, because with 5 minutes to go, this has been an absolute treat from Scotland under-17s. They're just going to clear their lines once more. That's the other thing, they do that when they have to. Sometimes it's intricate, sometimes it's simple, but it's always been effective.
I wonder what this does to the psychology of the Montenegrin team going forward in this tournament as well. I mean, their first game in the qualifying round, it was a narrow defeat to France, and they kind of picked themselves up after that to get 3rd spot in the group. But a hammering here in Paisley. I wonder how it might affect Scotland actually in the group placings going forward. If there's going to be more heavy score lines from the other team against Montenegro.
I'm sure we are more concerned about what effect it has on Scotland's psychology. How often do we hear footballers and managers at all levels of the game talking about confidence and momentum? Well, if you can't take confidence and momentum from a 6-1 win on the opening day, then what can you take confidence from? And talk about confidence. Johnny Mitchell trying to hit one from all of 25-30 yards there. He's clearly taking some inspiration from his teammates. Just turned 17 yesterday, did Johnny Mitchell, trying to get himself a birthday present. I'm sure the 3 points will have to do.
Not a bad one all round, but just the space he found there as well. The Montenegrin players want to get off this park as quickly as possible. There's acres of room now in front of him in midfield.
Mitchell is one of the Forth Valley Performance School pupils, affiliated to Falkirk, who we know have a rich history of producing decent young Scottish players in recent years. Scotland's number 6 in the middle of the field there, Johnny Mitchell, hoping to be the next in a long line.
Now, he said in an interview with The Sun that if we could have one superpower, it would be teleportation.
I'll leave that one up to you. You can find some sort of teleportation pun within the next 3 minutes.
I really should have prepared one.
I'm staying well clear. Back come Montenegro, just trying to salvage something from this game. Certainly well beaten, but looking to finish on a high and perhaps take some sort of confidence into the remaining fixtures. And of course, we're still going to have to play Switzerland and Serbia as well. Here they come, but Middleton's just back, involved in absolutely everything, not content with scoring 2 goals at one end. He's back defending, look at that, clearing his lines as well, taking pressure off his back line. And that really just sums it up for Innes Cameron, sprinting halfway across the field just to close the ball down and win a throw in on halfway.
You would forgive the Scotland players at this point, 6-1 up with 2 minutes to go, just wanting to conserve a bit of energy, especially Glenn Middleton, who looked like he was maybe taking a breather, but he's just not interested in that, is he? He wants to get that ball back, he wants more out of this. Well,
I was going to say they'll sleep well tonight, but maybe they won't, because they will be absolutely buzzing with what they've produced here, these Scotland youngsters. It's been a real joy to watch at times, and it's not over yet, but you just sense that they're producing something very special here in Paisley. Montenegro with it as the clock ticks down, just around 50 seconds or so of normal time still to play. Remember, 40-minute halves in under 17 football. I'd happily take an extra 10 minutes of this, would you?
I could watch this all night.
Might have a word with the referee, see what he can do for us. But I can tell you one man who won't want an extra 10 minutes, and that is Boris Milikovic, the Montenegro coach. He wants to get his players out of here as quickly as possible. We've waxed lyrical about Scotland. I'm sure he'll have seen many faults in his own team, but one thing is for sure, they have been on the end of an absolute doing here this evening. I think we'll file that one under speculative from Innes Cameron.
It's the confidence though, isn't it, to just take on a shot like that, and especially this time in the game where the legs are going and the runs aren't necessarily being made from second man getting into the box. Have a shot from distance, it's proved well so far this game.
Well, as you can see, we are going to have another 3 minutes, so Montenegro are going to have to suffer for another 3 minutes before they can get out of here. Who knows, perhaps even time for Scotland to grab a 7th. And we are in serious high-scoring territory. That's when the bracket 7 comes up on the teletext. That's when you know you've had a seriously impressive night in front of goal. Another terrific covering tackle. These might look like they're not that important, but when you're defending from the front and taking the pressure off, it really makes a world of a difference to the back line.
Well, that's interesting for me as well. Scot Gemmill, he could just go and take a nice cosy seat in the dugout, but he's out on the touchline barking instructions at his players. He doesn't want them to let up, even though we're into stoppage time.
Zach Rudden can't keep that one in. He can certainly be pleased with his evening's work. He's absolutely run his socks off. Scored an excellent header as well. Pleasing evening for the Rangers man. Well, as we make our way into the second minute of time added on, I did say I was going to put you on the spot and ask for a man of the match, and I tell you what a choice you've got.
Well, honourable mentions to Kerr McInroy, Jack Aitchison and Daniel Church as well, but for me it has to be Glenn Middleton. It's not just the composure of the goals, one on the left, one on the right, but he's just been that player who's the spark for Scotland, the real excitement, and you just can't get the ball off him. It's a close run thing, but I give it to Glenn Middleton.
There we are, Glenn Middleton is the man of the match according to Grant Russell. So if you disagree, then you can take it up with him. It's got nothing to do with me. Although, I think it would be a brave man who disagreed with that. Glenn Middleton, the Norwich striker, has been outstanding, scoring 2. Been a real thorn in the side of Montenegro all evening. I suppose the only shame is, with a minute to go, we probably won't see the hat-trick. But he's certainly done enough, that's for sure. And I don't suppose many of us have seen too much action from Norwich under-23s this season, but it's clear to see why there's a bit of excitement around this youngster down in Carrow Road. I was wondering if it was maybe just a Scottish connection which had led Alex Neil to give him a chance, but clearly there's more to it than that.
And he said as well he was getting time at Northampton, remember a chance to progress through the ranks there, but he's taking a chance to go to Norwich where he thinks he can develop at a higher level, and well, it's working out well for him so far.
And he's been in and around some fellow Scotland internationals, of course. I know he's been speaking at length with the likes of Russell Martin, so hopefully that's inspiring him to kick on and try and make the A squad in years to come. Well, the referee, I think, has got the whistle in the mouth. This could be the final action. Josh Donaldson in absolutely no rush at all, and why would you be? There goes the full-time whistle. And what a night it's been for Scotland. Look at that scoreboard. Scotland 6, Montenegro 1, and Scot Gemmill's men have been absolutely devastating. Jack Aitchison got us off and running. Zach Rudden and Kel McInroy put us 3-0 up at half-time. Montenegro did, credit to them, get a goal back just after the break, but after that it really was one-way traffic. Jack Aitchison with his second before he came off, and then an outstanding late double from Glenn Middleton means that Scotland start off this elite qualification campaign with an utterly convincing win against Montenegro here in Paisley. Grant Russell's been alongside me, Gordon Duncan, and Grant, that was quite simply a joy to watch.
Composed, clinical, emphatic. 3 words to sum up that Scotland performance. Under the caution the first 10 minutes, and then out of nothing they managed to take the lead. Great build-up play from Daniel Church. What a touch from Jack Aitchison, and what a finish as well to put it in that tight pocket in the top left corner, and that just set the tone for the rest of the game.
Well, the beauty of these games being streamed live by the Scottish FA is you're going to be able to watch these clips over and over again, and I certainly will be. You can see the second goal, Church again involved, curling cross, goalkeeper got it wrong, but Zach Rudden was there. Puts the shut in the mouth in celebration, slide on the knees as well. He clearly enjoyed that one, got up well, headed the ball down, and Aitchison again involved with this one. Look at that, lovely turn. Who's there? That man Church again, involved in all 3 goals. Into McInroy, bursts into the space and absolutely buried the finish beyond the goalkeeper. At this point, Scotland were absolutely flying. 3 goals to the good at half-time, and it really could have been anything.
So many players who know the route to goal as well. I think that's the really encouraging thing, although the defensive mix-up for Montenegro's goal, that was the only kind of black mark. Robbie Dees and Stephen Welsh played together so much for Celtic and Scotland, just a bit of a communication breakdown, but overall, not that important.
Well, we saw what Jack Aitchison could do with his back to goal on the left foot in the first half. Let's see what he can do with the right foot. Jordan Houston into him, one touch, turn and hit. Makes absolutely no mistake. You can see the Montenegro substitutes just turning away. They can't bear to watch, and I'm not surprised. Jack Aitchison, a truly outstanding performance from the Celtic youngster, takes the acclaim of his teammates, and in truth it was only to get better for Scotland. Long ball went up, it got knocked down to Middleton, just a couple of touches to find his range, and look at that for a finish. Absolutely fizzed into the top corner. Glenn Middleton, he had plenty of good play up until that point. We were just waiting on him getting on the score sheet. He certainly did, and then he managed to add to it as well. Look at this defensive slip.
Yeah, this sums it up. I mean, he pressed the defender into making that mistake. I know it was a slip, but he's made the mistake, and then just he's having his shirt tugged. There's players diving in. He doesn't care. He's got the composure. He's got the strength to find the bottom corner like that. What a prospect, what a finish, what an emphatic performance across the board.
Yeah, it really has been outstanding from Scotland's under-17s in this opening game of the elite qualification round for the European Under-17 Championship, and we hope you enjoyed what you've watched. That was Scotland against Montenegro, and there is more to come. Serbia are the visitors to the Paisley 21 Stadium on Sunday, and then Switzerland, the final opponents, on Wednesday. By then we will know if Scotland under-17s are packing their bags for Croatia in May, where they could well make it to a 4th consecutive European Under-17 Championships. Remember, all the games have been streamed live on the Scotland National Team YouTube and Facebook page. You can't not have enjoyed what you've just seen, so tell all your friends to get involved on Sunday and Wednesday. We'll be back then bringing you every single kick of the ball. It's been an absolute pleasure. It finished Scotland 6, Montenegro 1.